Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? For this video, I'd just like to not do too much, just read some facts, figures, data and statistics. And, excuse me, I'm just looking at the time so that I follow, okay. About Eskom. To give those of you who don't have a good sense of perspective on the degree and the extent of Eskom's demise, well, to give you a good sense of perspective. And it's done by comparing the years 2008 and 22. I'm just shifting my monitor so that when I look at it, my mouth doesn't turn too far away from this microphone. And I can't put the mic that side, it's cluttered. In 2008, Eskom's revenue was 44.4 billion rand. In 2022, the revenue was 246.5 billion rand. In 2008, the profit was 1 billion on that 44.4 billion rand revenue. And in 2022, the profit was in fact a loss of 14 billion rand on that 246.5 billion rand revenue. It looked for a second as if the camera was shaking out of the corner of my eye, and I thought it might be one of my dogs. The installed capacity, that means all of the power generation capacity that Eskom has installed, up and running, or not installed and up and running, installed and should be available. It is installed. There's the word that you need, is installed. Whether or not it's maintained, whether or not it's up and running, whether or not, in the case of a solar farm, it's a sunny day, whether or not in the case of a wind farm, it's a windy day, whether or not in the case of a pumped storage scheme, it is day or night. You know, the pumped storage schemes are the two dams. There's more than one set of, but where you have a dam at the top of a mountain, dam at the bottom of a mountain, and you pump water to the upper dam, and you let it sit there until you need it, and then you run it through hydroelectric turbines down tunnels or great big channels to the lower dam. So it's like a hydroelectric. It is a hydroelectricity. And then when you have spare power, and this usually works according to day and night, you pump it back up to the top. And then you have this whole lot of water available to drive hydroelectric turbines on command. Regardless, is it installed? Is it there? Does it exist? Should it be available? If needed. In 2008, it was 43,037 megawatts. Excuse me. In 2022, it was 47,145 megawatts. So in 14 years, just roughly 4,000 megawatts was added, although it's not always available. In other words, if a unit was commissioned, if it was built and tested and signed off and put into the stock in trade, made available like all of the others to operate, to function, to generate electricity, then it is part of the installed capacity. If it then breaks down for a day, a week, a month, a year, it remains part of the installed capacity. So it's not about energy availability, it's about what capacity should Eskom have. So it only went up by about 4,000 megawatts. Electricity sold in 2008 was 224,366 gigawatt. So that's megawatt multiplied by 1,000. In 2022, obviously because of blackouts, it only oh, excuse me. I beg your pardon. It could only produce to sell 198,221 gigawatt hours. Not gigawatts, gigawatt hours. Gigawatt hours. The number of staff employed in 2008 was 35,404. In 2022, it was 40,421. By the way, all of this information was compiled by the dailyinvestor.com, if you're wondering what is the provenance of it. The dailyinvestor.com. The employee costs, in other words, the costs of the employees in 2008, the 35,404 employees, cost Eskom 11.4 billion rand. The cost of the 40,421 employees of 2022 was 33 billion rand. So the number went up by 30%, a little bit less. But the cost, of those employees went up by 300%, almost. The selling price for electricity in 2008 was 19.45 cents per kilowatt hour. The selling price for electricity in 2022 was 127.9 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, I question that figure because, as I know it, let's get the calculator. I'll tell you what I'm driving at in a second. Percent equals, I don't know. I was hoping to resolve something with the calculator, but Ted Blom claimed in an interview of just about 6 days ago, that the cents per kilowatt hour now is 109, not 127.9. In any case, there has been a dramatic increase. The cost per employee of that electricity, in other words, not the cost of the employee, we spoke about employee costs, but relative to the electricity, the cost of the electricity per employee. To generate the electricity of 2008, it cost 320,670 rand per employee. In 2022, it cost 816,000 rand and 36 cents per employee on average. Obviously, some guys are earning R1 million a month, other guys are earning, 20,000 rand a month. 816,000 rand and 816,036 rand The electricity sold per employee was 6.34 gigawatt hours in 2008 and 4.91 gigawatt hours in 2022. And the energy availability factor, meaning what of Eskom's installed capacity is available on average every single day to generate electricity. Now, what percentage of what it can generate, is a better way of putting it, is available for it to share? Okay, it's got maybe the capacity between its, what is it, 47,145 megawatts. That's the theoretical capacity. How much of that 47,000 is available on average? On average, in 2008, it was 85%. On average, in 2022, it was 62.02%. I'm not going to harp on too much. Let's keep this video short for a change. I have other things to do. Excuse me, it's very warm here in Van der Kloof. I have 2 air conditioners running and a water cooler, one of those big upright water cool fans, but it is still very, very warm. Even so late in the afternoon. What is the time now? It is 27 minutes past 5. It's still warm. So let that suffice, ladies and gentlemen, to give you a sense of perspective. Even if you haven't memorized every one of those figures, they, I think, were poignant, striking. It would have created created a strong impression in your minds and enabled you to obtain a non-scholarly, non-academic, non-professional, just a layman's sense of perspective on this Eskom thing. The numbers involved are huge. The deterioration is phenomenal, in spite of far greater costs, far greater investment in human resources, far greater numbers of people, and of course, far greater selling price of electricity from 19.45 cents to 127.9 cents, call it 128. So just about 20 cents to 128 cents, 1 rand 28. More than 6 times. Is that? Yeah, 20 times 6 is 120. More than 6 times. In 14 short years. Okie dokie, everybody. Thank you very much for watching this video. We appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to help us in our work, if you'd like to donate to Suidlanders for the good work that we are doing for a good cause, please do so by visiting suidlanders.org, scrolling down to the bottom of the page, the home page, and where you will see a number of donation of payment vectors, I think is what they call them. Payment vectors, different easy to use, user-friendly ways that you can donate to us. All right, goodbye, and God bless you, everybody. Bye-bye.